All right, let's dive into something really interesting today. We're going to break down a powerful framework for getting programs done right. Now, it's a pretty dense strategic document, so our job here is to take all those big ideas and turn them into a playbook that you can actually use. So let's get into it. So the source we're looking at kicks off with this killer line. I mean, on the surface, it sounds really ambitious, doesn't it? It's almost like poetry for the boardroom. It paints this picture of perfect harmony, from the initial spark of an idea all the way to the final impact. But what does it really mean when the rubber meets the road?
And that's really the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? Is this just a fancy slogan that sounds good, or is there a genuine, actionable strategy hidden in those words? We're going to break it down pillar by pillar and find out.
You wouldn't build a skyscraper without a rock-solid foundation, right? Well, it's the exact same idea in program management. To make this real, let's invent a project. We'll call it Project Phoenix, a huge company-wide push to launch a new, unified customer platform. This first pillar is all about getting the blueprint for Project Phoenix absolutely perfect before a single dollar is spent or a line of code is written. So, let's unpack this idea of vision and design. And here's the thing you've got to get. Vision isn't some fluffy, feel-good mission statement you hang on a wall. For our Project Phoenix, the vision isn't just build a new platform. That's not a vision. It's a concrete North Star. Create a single, unified view of our customer to increase retention by 15%. See the difference? Now, every single decision has to serve that one goal. So how do you actually create that kind of vision? Well, first up, you have to define the why for Project Phoenix. Why are we doing this? Well, we're losing customers because our sales and support teams are looking at different information. Simple. Second, you create the roadmap, the major phases, the milestones. And third, and this is the part people almost always forget, you have to communicate it relentlessly, making sure everyone from the intern in marketing to the lead engineer in IT can tell you exactly what that 15% retention goal is all about.
Okay, next is governance in motion. And I know, that word governance can make people's eyes glaze over. We immediately think of red tape and bureaucracy, right? But the key word here is motion. For Project Phoenix, this isn't some rigid, dusty rulebook. Think of it more like dynamic guardrails on a highway. It's a clear process for deciding which new features get added, and it makes sure the project keeps flying forward at speed without accidentally driving off a cliff.
All right, so we've got our blueprint and our guardrails in place for Project Phoenix. The foundation is set. Now it's time to move on to Pillar 2, the mechanics. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of how we actually build this thing with precision and purpose. And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got portfolio chaos. Just imagine, while we're pouring everything into Project Phoenix, another team, completely in the dark, is building their own little customer database. That's chaos. It's a waste of time and money. But on the right, with alignment, every single project has a clear purpose, resources are used wisely, and the value is undeniable. That's what you get when your foundation is strong. Now, let's talk about something called engaged audits. And let's be honest, the word audit is terrifying for most people, right? It sounds like you're in trouble. But this framework completely reframes it as a collaborative health check. For Project Phoenix, this isn't about blaming the team. It's about spotting icebergs up ahead. It's like checking in to see if the sales team's training on the new platform is actually working, so we can fix it now before it's too late. This is one of my favorite lines from the source material. It suggests that a really well-run program isn't just a series of tasks. It has a narrative, a story. The story of Project Phoenix isn't we built these features. No way. It's a story of transformation. It has a clear plot. This is how we're going from a company that's disconnected to one that is absolutely obsessed with its customers. And don't think for a second that this story is just fluff. It is a seriously powerful tool. It's what demonstrates value when leadership asks you how Project Phoenix is going. It's what builds morale because your team understands their part in this epic tale. And maybe, most importantly, a great story is what justifies your budget. It's an incredible business tool. And that brings us to the grand finale, our third and final pillar, the results. We've designed it, we've built it, but what did we get from it? This is all about the real, tangible value and the lasting impact of our program. The first result we're looking for is optimization. This is really just about wringing every last drop of value out of the resources you have. It's a mindset of constantly asking, how can we do this faster, cheaper, or better without cutting corners? When you can answer that question, you know your program is running like a well-oiled machine. And see, optimization isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a number you can point to. For Project Phoenix, maybe our new platform leads to a 25% drop in customer support call times because agents finally have the right information at their fingertips. When you can slap a hard number on your improvements like that, you're not just telling a good story anymore. You are proving it with cold, hard data. And finally, we have capability. Now, this one might just be the most important result of them all. So Project Phoenix delivered a platform. Great. But the real lasting capability is that the whole organization is now stronger. Our sales and support teams have literally learned a new way to work together. We've built the organizational muscle for making decisions based on data. That's the true legacy.
So look, when you piece all of this together, that strong vision, the precise mechanics, the real tangible results, you're not just managing a project anymore. You're doing something much bigger. You are fundamentally transforming your relationship with the business, and you become what our next slide calls.
And this, right here, this is the whole point. This is the end game. When you consistently deliver massive wins like Project Phoenix, with vision, with precision, and with results you can measure, you earn your seat at the strategy table. You're no longer just the person who executes ideas. You become a trusted partner who helps shape them from the very beginning. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at the programs you're running right now, what story are they telling? Is it a story of careful, deliberate strategy? Or is it a story of just chance? This framework we've walked through gives you the tools to be the architect of that story.